Go ahead. My name is Julia. I'm a senior at Sunset High School.
I'm Haley Till. I'm also a senior at Sunset High School.
And I'm Jim Sugawa, graduate of Beaverton High School. Many years ago.
Many years ago.
And you were 8 when you had to move to the internment camps, is that right?
I was, 10 years old.
Okay, yeah. Can you tell us how it all happened?
Well, the war broke out and Japan attacked, the United States at Pearl Harbor. And that following February 19th, 1942, President Roosevelt, Delano Roosevelt, Proclamation 10966, that anybody of Japanese ancestry, whether it be first generation, second generation, had to be at least 200 miles off of the coast area. In 1942, when that came out, they gave us about a month to get all your belongings and all your legal things taken care of. And so that was probably about in April and May of that year. We all assembled in, where the Portland Expo Center is.
Right.
And that became, and those days it was called the Portland Livestock Pavilion. And so it was, you displayed your cows and horses and manure.
Manure,
And so about 13 acres, and that was all barred in. And there were guard towers on each of the 4 corners with machine guns. Not pointed out toward the enemy, normally,
right.
But it was pointed in, so we were the enemy, really. Where the animals were kept, those are made into, I would say, living quarters. And those living quarters were maybe 12 by 12, and there was no ceiling, it was just plywood. Of course, me being a kid of 10, you don't know what war is, you don't know what's going on, and you just play. So I met many friends there, and we just played. But had I been more of an adult, 18, 19, 20, then I think I would have been a little disturbed, because they were imprisoning, your citizen, American citizen, and you're taken in. So now we stayed there from May, June, July, August, and then in September we boarded trains, and they pulled the blinds on the trains, and then we went to Idaho, Minidoka, Idaho, which was just outside of Twin Falls, Idaho. They were building about 9 camps, I think, quite a few in California, Arizona, Arkansas, and in Minidoka, Idaho, which is the one I went to.
So the government was preparing for this to be a more long-term...
Then they slapped up these buildings, no, insulation. And again, in a block, like the one I went to, there was 44 blocks, okay? And down the middle was your toilet facilities, washing facility, bathing facilities. Each barrack had about 6, we'll call them apartments or cubicles. And you had a stove in the middle which burned coal, and that was your heat. And it was mighty cold in Idaho in the wintertime. It froze over. And in the summertime it was really hot and dusty. But again, like I say, kids, I was a kid, so that didn't bother me a bit. But like I said, I'm sure it bothered the older, the parents. The parents are the ones that were the immigrants coming from Japan. My folks hit the port of Seattle in 1919, and then they finally ended up in Hillsborough. But they were not the fighter type, whatever had to be, had to be.
Did both of your parents come with you to the first?
My dad died when I was 1 year old.
Okay,
so had no dad. So mom had to shift for herself, taking care of 7 kids,
7 kids?
Yeah, 7 kids. So Henry was the oldest. My brother George, Helen, Mom, and myself, and my sister Sachi. Mom got very, very ill. They did have, medical help there, but she needed more expertise. So she passed away in 43, so I was about 10 years old then when she passed away.
So you were 10 years old, and by this time you had two siblings, two brothers in the military.
Yes,
And you had two sisters and one brother with you.
yes.
How did you and the siblings that were with you after you left the internment camp in Idaho? How did you guys manage to make ends meet and support yourselves?
Okay, my brother George became a bellhop. You know what a bellhop is?
Yeah, I do.
And he bellhopped at the Owyhee Hotel. And I think my brother Henry was a gambler, so from his winnings he would send money home.
Oh, wow.
So that's how we existed. And what you don't have, you don't miss.
Right.
So
No.
I felt like I had a good time in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
So I only stayed in camp in Minidoka about a year.
Okay. Was it difficult transitioning into a school after being in the camp?
It didn't seem to be. Everybody, there was really no prejudice, or I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it at all, prejudice. But in Boise, Idaho, in the city, right there, you would see a barber shop say no Japs allowed. Restaurant maybe say no Japs allowed, or those things. Of course, you didn't go there.
Yeah, I wonder about that though. That sort of thing is institutionalized, but that you didn't see it in personal relationships.
No, I don't know why. I guess I was lucky.
Yeah.
So then the boys, after the war, they both came back, and nobody had skills. Nobody had gone to school. Nobody had a vocation. But Henry had farmed a few strawberry acres. We packed up, looked like the Clampetts, from Hillbillies, and went to Farmer Bill. Rented the boys 32 acres. We lived there with Farmer Bill. He had one of these old farmhouses, had 4 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bedroom downstairs, living parlor, kitchen. And during the summer, when we were working, we didn't use the bathtub. We would just take a bucket of water, the boys would, in a bathing suit, and then you would sit, soap what, clean up, and then rinse off with that bucket of water. Then I entered Buren High School in 47, and I got to shower. Oh, girls. Girls, that was great.
That's been great. Were you still working on the strawberry farm, or helping out at the strawberry farm while you were going to high school?
Through all high school. And
Gosh.
that kind of work didn't hurt me at all. It was good for me.
Yeah.
That you work from sun up to sundown,
Right.
Yeah, that was quite an experience. And then finally, I think at 47, my brother Henry bought a house in Cedar Mill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so then we had a house.
Did your brother take care of you? He was
He kind of, nobody really took care of it. We kind of shifted by ourselves.
Okay.
So it's a wonder I didn't end up in jail.
Yeah.
I came close, but no, not close. And I attended Buren High School 4 years. And I played football, I played basketball, and I played baseball.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
At that time, the little guy could play,
Yeah.
And the little guy with no weight could play, those things.
Without being crushed.
Without being crushed. And I played 4 years of football. I made the team as a freshman. I don't know why, but he put me on the varsity for 4 years. And then I played varsity basketball 3 years and varsity baseball 4 years. Of all things, I got a football scholarship, and And we had a championship team my freshman year at Lewis and Clark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was made up of 3 freshman backs and a sophomore quarterback. I played second string behind a kid named Katie Cook, a black kid, wonderful man. And of course, now who are you going to pick? Katie was 6'1", 190 pounds, and I was 5'3", 130 pounds. Now who would you pick?
Did you ever encounter like discrimination when you were at Beaverton or like anything like
You
that?
know, again, I was lucky, and whether it was because I was an athlete,
Yeah.
you know, but it was just 45, 47, it was just 2 years after the war, so, you know, it could have, you know, it could have been a lot of animosity, prejudice shown, but, and I'm sure it's because I didn't play all the athletics that they did.
So you had a lot of friends.
I had a lot of friends. In fact, our friendship still persists. The 6 guys that I played ball with, we'd go and get together and have lunch together, and then still.
Oh, that's
wow.
fabulous.
And then
Wonderful.
we volunteered draft, and at that time the Korean War was going hot and heavy, but we couldn't stay in school, or I couldn't stay in school, so we volunteered draft in December, and in February we were gone. I was in the Army,
Wow.
trained in Fort Lewis, Washington,
Oh, wow.
4 months, and became a walking soldier.
Mm.
And then after the training, that we got our orders, and those guys that fooled around, you know, goofed up in training, went to Korea, and the other guys, me, got to go to Europe.
Oh,
wow. So,
well, that paid off nicely.
so when we hit Bremerhaven, Germany, they put us on trains, and we went down to a town called Zweibrücken where we had a camp. And the sergeant that interviewed me said, you know, Jim, we could use another Asian on post. So they allotted so many things like that. And he said, would you like to interview for a position here? And I said, you betcha. And so I interviewed with the captain from Lake Oswego.
Oh.
And we talked about Portland, talked about Lake Oswego, how we in high school would go over to Lake Oswego and swim. And he said, you'd be crazy not to take the job. And I said, I know. So that's how I got to be in a CNA, classification and assignment. So I didn't have to do my walking soldier anymore. It was wonderful.
How long did you spend there?
18 months.
When you moved back from Europe, or like when you came back from Europe, were you living with your brothers and sisters?
Yeah, then my brother Henry and his wife Toshko took care of me,
Okay.
you know, kind of like parents, but really not really. Just a place where I could hang my clothes up, and she fed me and washed my clothes and stuff. But
So you went back to school at OSU, right? And started preparing. Did you know what you wanted to do
Yes.
at that point?
at that point, I was either in medicine or dentistry,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same courses that you take. And then finally, my senior year, I thought, oh, I don't want to have that beeper and deal with death, and or I don't know if it's that bad, but I thought dentistry would be a better life, and which it proved out to be.
Yeah. How long were you in dentistry? You said?
Dentistry was 32 and a half years in Beaverton
Oh, wow.
on Farmington Road.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I had a nice practice and nice patients for a few exceptions.
Are any of your siblings still living, or?
Okay, we're down to 3. My brother Henry's passed, my sister Toshko's passed, brother Ike has passed, and my sister Sachi's passed. So it's my brother George, Helen, and I. The 3 of us that lived in Boise together.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much.